Good morning. Welcome to the Professional Registry. What's in it for me this morning? I'd like to give a warm welcome to Ms. Jennifer Poole-Winkler from the University of North Dakota, Dr. Susan Foster from St. Leo University, Justin Cato from the University of North Florida, Vicki Highstreet, University of Nebraska, and April Flint from Emory University.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for bearing with us with the technical difficulties. As you can see, we're here to talk to you about the registry and how you can get involved and what the perks are of being involved. So, and we already did introductions. And I apologize in advance. We didn't get St. Leo corrected for St. Leo's. The learning objectives, these are printed in your program guide. You're here to learn about the registry and how it works. We're going to talk to you a little bit about NIRSA's core competencies and then identify resources for providing feedback as the registry evolves. These are the core competencies that our presentation will address today, and the topic areas in the conference that were assigned are personal and professional development and managing and leading professional staff. We started with the registry and the core competencies as we evolved into a formal profession. These are some of the criteria that help us say, yes, we are true professionals, and other people can say, well, how do you think that? And we can tell you why. And we had everything checked off as an organization. Honestly, we're an autonomous professional association. We do practice and not just theory. We're actually probably much better at practice than most of us are at theory. We're motivated by helping others was kind of what we do. And of course, NIRSA has a nice solid ethics and code of conduct well established for us. And then that's where the specialized body of knowledge and the credentialing came in. And as we started to evolve the registry and bring it online, we realized we really needed to figure out how we were going to help people guide their development and their career aspirations. And so that's how the core competencies came about. So that's the specialized body of knowledge. And the registry is the credential through which we acknowledge your expertise. This is a brief history of the registry. In 2004, we presented a proposal to the NIRSA board. In 2006, we worked with some consultants to benchmark with other professional registries. And I will say this is an innovative concept. There are other registries, but they're usually tied to really extensive exams, things like the registered dietitian, for example. And so we wanted it to be more of an inspirational and aspirational and long-term developmental tool to help you guide your career. And so we benchmarked and discovered we really wanted something kind of unique. The project plan was developed to help guide the process, and NIRSA approved that in 2009. And in 2009, the core competencies were actually validated using the Delphi method. And so they were heavily vetted and as we got those built. And then now they got approved, of course, and then we rolled out 2.0 last year with the levels in the core competencies. And in 2011, the registry actually went live. So this has actually been in the works for a really long time. And then we're going to talk about, Justin's going to tell you a little bit about how you get involved.
So to actually get involved with the registry, it's actually a simple process. If you've been a professional for at least 2 years and you hold a master's degree, it's really as simple as filling out a short application, turning it into NIRSA headquarters. They verify your credentials as well as being a master's degree, 2 years of work experience. And that pretty much gets you in. It really is what happens after you've become a member of the registry is where you really have to start putting the work in. And that's with, and I'll talk about that in a minute, with your continuing education credits, your personal involvement. Did I hit something? There we go. Okay. I see it on the screen.
Okay, so you can talk.
Yes, okay. Should show back in a second. Maybe not. Okay. Another way when you're doing your application is if you have a bachelor's degree plus 3 years of professional experience and 2 continuing education credits. I'll talk about what those are in just a second. Or 4 years of work experience in the field and 4 continuing education credits. The continuing education credits are what you get by just even right now, you're getting a 0.1 continuing. Oh.
talking.
Okay. So the technology.
It's great when it works.
Okay. Your continuing education credit. So attending this session, you get a 0.1 continuing education credits. Pretty much every contact hour for ed sessions that are NIRSA CEU approved, you're getting credit for that if you choose to use it, for the registry. So just coming into here is a 0.1. So if you can do simple math like it took me years to figure out, essentially 10 sessions is a full 1 credit of CEUs. So, like we said, if you've got your master's degree or 2 years of experience, you don't have to have these continuing education credits to get into the registry to start off with. If you've got a bachelor's degree plus 2 years of experience, 3 years of experience, and 2 CEUs, so that's essentially 20 contact hours of going to NIRSA sessions. A lot of the regional conferences will be NIRSA CEU certified. Just about all of the annual conference sessions, minus some of the roundtables and open discussions and things of that nature, count. So you're getting credit for things you're going to already. I know for this pretty much I average about 8 to 10 sessions a conference because I like to go to as many things as I can because I'm crazy like that. But you can, right there, pretty much every year, hey, look, there we go. I'm getting just from going to NIRSA ed sessions, if I attend 1 regional conference and 1 annual conference, I'm easily at, 1.5 CEUs just in 1 year. Pretty easy to do. You're already coming, you're getting credit for it. And that's what helps certify us, if you will, in the registry. And that's how we, promote that lifelong learning, which is the whole point of the registry, and you're getting credit for it. If we go to the renewal process is a 3-year cycle. We actually just finished our first full cycle of the registry, I believe it was last year, maybe a year and a half ago. I know I did my renewal 2 years ago, I think. So I guess we've been about year 4 or 5 at this point. So everyone has pretty much gone through 1 renewal cycle at this point if you started at the beginning. This is where you've got to earn the credits to keep your registry current. You have to have 4.5 credits total, and that's between continuing ed credits or personal involvement credits. Personal involvement credits are if you're an intramural person like me, you're working football tournaments, basketball tournaments, you get a certain number of picks. If you are a presenter at a conference or a regional conference, annual conference, you get a certain number of pick credits. You have to earn 4.5 in the year, so that's essentially 45 contact hours, if you want to think of it that way, if you did nothing but ed sessions. We all know that's pretty hard to do in 3 years. That's where your picks come in, makes life very easy, so you get credit for volunteering in NIRSA. There's a huge list that we could go through and pull up, but on the registry website, it gives you a full list of everything that you can think of doing. You get personal involvement credits. I know for working tournaments, I think I get 0.2 picks for working a basketball tournament or a football tournament. You get so many if you present, you get so many if you serve on a committee or commission, and so on and so forth. If you attend the NIRSA school, you get so many for attending that. There's quite a bit of ways to do it. It seems daunting. You go, oh my gosh, 45 contact hours of 45 ed sessions I've got to go through. Not so much. It makes the task less daunting when you realize, so for me, volunteering and doing everything I already do in NIRSA, as well as just attending ed sessions, I'm going to get those 4.5 credits. You're going to get it pretty easily. It's really not too terribly difficult, so it's not as daunting of a task as one might think.
To add to what Justin shared with you, it's not just NIRSA involvement, NIRSA from the involvement standpoint, it's not just NIRSA though. If somebody were teaching a class, for example, you're an adjunct and you're teaching a course, those that are working with students working on, say, master's projects if you were on a committee. So there's a lot of those ways to get. We wanted to encourage people to support the profession and help the profession continue to grow. Similarly with your CEUs, it's not just NIRSA. We wanted it to be broad enough for people to get credit for the things they're doing for their specialty within NIRSA. So if you're an aquatics person, or if you're a fitness person, fitness people, we're used to the CEU world because we have to keep those to maintain the certifications. And so you can use those as in a dual role because we want this to be adaptable and accept and embrace all the diversity we have in NIRSA in terms of our specialties and our professional areas. Benefits. So we have some wonderful people here in the audience who are active members in the registry, and I thought it might be helpful for you guys to hear their stories about why they got involved and where they see value in the registry. So we'll start with Vicki Highstreet from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and we're really honored to have her involved with us because she's also a NIRSA past president, so she brings a lot of knowledge, experience, and historical context for us.
Past, I think she said past twice. I think there's a significance there. That's okay. Well, the honor I have is the year I was president was in 2009 when we approved this and really supported it as a board. And I think that really says a lot about the work that went into it as well. For me, I think that my purpose for maybe putting the registry out in front of my staff is to show them about all of the different competencies that would be beneficial for them to see the bigger picture. So when we talk about the registry, we talk about it in terms now, if you go onto the website and you look under the core competencies, you'll see not only the listing, but now you'll see different levels in each of the areas. And to me, that is the next step that we've made that is so valuable. It gives you an idea of some of the things that you really can look at and know that those skills and knowledges will really help you be a more all-round person within recreation. I talk to the younger folks about, this is what you need to look at and see and get skills and knowledges and things in areas to make you more marketable. So that's one of the ways that we use it is, okay, how can we give you the leg up to make you more marketable when you get ready to go out and apply for that job? This is a great way to do that. The other thing is that we have, more seasoned professionals who are looking to try to move up into different positions. And, if you want to be a director, you better have an all-around look to your resume. And this is a way for you to go in and have kind of I hate to say checklist, but some people use it that way, to look at some of the things that maybe you're just not thinking about in terms of, the skills and knowledge that you need in order to look at a bigger picture. I think it's a way we can use it in our evaluation of staff. We can put forth goals by using it and then evaluate their progress in that area. And again, because, I'm personally, but our area within the University of Nebraska is so involved in development, it's just not about development of the student, it's development of our staff too. And we want them to be passionate about what they're doing. And sometimes that means we need to push them a little harder or even support them when they go somewhere else to another level, to the next level of their profession. In order for us to feel good about that, we need to have something to be able to kind of, again, the word judge is probably, can have different connotations, but really judge whether or not they're progressing forward with. So we use it in a lot of different ways. So I would be glad to talk to anybody about some of the ways that we use it, but I think that those are some of the highlights. And if anybody has any questions about that, I'd be glad to answer them when we're done. So.
Thank you, Vicki.
So I came in as with my esteemed colleagues, I'm the younger one of the group. I'm in very good company on the Registry Commission. But
Thanks for making me feel old, man.
I'm trying to word it right. As you can see, I'm the least experienced of the ones that are here. Thankfully, we don't need to scream and talk. Here we go. Again, it was about 4 or 5 years ago. We heard about the registry, or I heard about the registry coming up. There's a couple of ed sessions about it. Leading up, there was another certification that NIRSA had that we went away from. And when I got involved as a student, and granted, I've been doing this for a little bit now. I'm in my 12th year of NIRSA, which is amazing. I've enjoyed the ride so far, but I knew that when I got involved, I became a professional. I enjoyed coming to ed sessions. I liked being involved. I liked volunteering as much as I could in NIRSA. What was a way that was going to demonstrate my dedication to lifelong learning into our profession? And thankfully, the registry came up. The other certification that we had had gone away. We knew NIRSA was moving to something different, so I kind of got to bide my time, wait, and see what would happen. See, it doesn't even distract me. I can just keep going. I just gotta stop touching the podium. There we go. Keep my hands in my pockets. So when this came up, I jumped at the opportunity. As soon as the registry came up, and I attempted to be one of the very first ones that I could to get involved and just join the registry. I'm like, okay, I'm joined, now what? Oh, I'm just getting credit, like I said before, I'm getting credit for stuff I'm already doing. And it demonstrates.
Could help you once you're in your career and to move forward and move upward. And I have the experience of being both at a small school and a large school. As I worked in campus recreation at St. Louis University, Eastern Illinois University, and the Ohio State University. So I know the experiences that you can get from the small schools and the larger schools. Here at the conference, there's 2 of us from St. Leo, one from Campus Rec and me. And so we don't have large staffs, and we don't even have any students here because we're still trying to sell them on the value of campus recreation as a career. I've had some marvelous students at my other universities that are still in this profession or are now directors on campuses. And because our intramural program is so small, it's a hard sell. And it's a hard sell once they see the value to get into campus rec because they don't have a lot of IM experience. And some of the other big things like club sports. So something like this would be very, very helpful for all of you as you're moving through your career and you're able to gain picks and CEUs and everything to sell yourself to the larger schools or to any boss. And hopefully you'll be working with bosses that do use the RCRFP. Thank you.
So hopefully you got a little bit of a better appreciation for what the registry can do for you and what it can do for our profession. This slide just it tells you, just literally lists the core competencies for you. You'll see they're really broad. They're really great topics. And one of the nice things about the core competencies is that you can even use them with your undergraduate students that may not be in considering the profession. These are skills some of these things are skills they're going to need in any place. And so there's so many different ways the core competencies can be used. And of course, there's some reference links here, and this will be up on the NIRSA Connect, hopefully tonight, if I can get it posted. Here's a sample just so you can see there's the introductory language there for programming, and then you'll see there's some subtopics where they kind of talk a little bit about how the core competencies play out and break down. Really small text, I know this is just an example for you to look at. You'll see this online on NIRSA if you go there. And so one of the subtopics here is student learning and development is an important part of why we program. And I've been in the field almost 20 years, and that's something we've made huge strides in as a profession, is being able to articulate how does playing intramurals contribute to them as their development and preparation for college, or how does working out in the fitness center help them? And that's one of the strides we've made, and part of that's because we developed the core competencies, and now we're able to tell all the powers that be. These kinds of concepts have been invaluable to me as a director when I'm talking about budget or collaboration or professional development opportunities. This is how we're contributing to campus and the student experience. Another one is teaching and training. And they're all a little bit different for each of the core competencies, and you'll see the green, the things that are highlighted in green, that's the basic level, that's the entry level, and that's really helpful for students as they're starting to learn how the field works and find out about these competencies. Intermediate, it helps you decide how you want to progress, and how am I getting better? How do I know I'm better at this? And then of course the blue over there is the advanced. And so even as a director, I'm not advanced on all of them, on all the competencies. There's always something to learn, as Justin said before. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with Strengths Quest, but my number one strength anytime I've taken it is learning. So those that know me are not going to be surprised by that, but that's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about the registry and the core competency work. Applying the core competencies, this is a list, and I have to make a plug for a presentation I'm doing later today at 2:15 in Osceola. We're actually going to be talking through how some different institutions have actually started to take the core competencies and apply them. And so, obviously, guiding the educational offerings at NIRSA and other educational events, the School of Rec Sports Management, the different institutes that we have. Obviously, your personal career development and planning, we've talked about that. Performance management, that's actually the section that I'll be covering in that presentation, how we're using that to help both our students and our professional staff and our team. As a team, our leadership team evolve and make sure that we're continuing to do our best job. Job descriptions, there's several universities that have used the core competencies to help articulate exactly what the expectations are for jobs. And department organization and strategy, again, that kind of helps you see those levels and how you strive as a department to make sure you're providing the best service to your students. And then there's also ways that it's being integrated into the curriculum by some of the faculty members. So if you're interested in learning more about how to use the core competencies, I encourage you to come to that. The future. This is the heart of the registry. Some things that we know we're working on, and some things that are creating challenges for the registry. First, we need to, NIRSA, as we evolve, and now that the registry's here and it's taking hold, we have to be very intentional as an association about making sure we're providing the tools for people to continue to get the education in a variety of formats. And so, and most of you have probably heard of digital badging or micro-credentials. How can we integrate those kind of learning techniques into the registry so that you're continuing to get credit for that? And can NIRSA even evolve our own digital badging so that those skills are readily identifiable and easily transferable? The half-life of knowledge in today's world is so short. And so that's another reason that the registry and the core competencies are really important to our profession. They're going to help us make sure they're broad, they're not specific to the particulars of how you do a kickball tournament, for example, or how you manage your group fitness schedule. But so they're broad enough to fit all of the different areas we do, but still the half-life of the knowledge, the theory, the principles, and just even the events. When Quidditch, nobody had ever heard of it when I was, when I had my first job. So there's things that are always changing and evolving, and so it's important that we as professionals make a commitment to staying on top of that. And the registry will be a valuable tool for that, but we need to make sure it's user-friendly and is something that is going to continue to provide value to the association. Employers, one of the things that has been a real popular topic lately is the NACE survey that says the top 10 skills employers are looking for, and very little of that is actual technical knowledge. They assume, and as a leader and as a director, when I'm evaluating a candidate, I look for the soft skills. Are they good for my team? Do I think they can lead the students well? How personable are they? Those are all things I can't coach you as well on that. I can catch you up on any of your knowledge. And so and when you look at the competencies, there are some of those soft skills in there. And so that, and how does the registry continue to evolve in order to acknowledge those skills? And then credentialing, if it needs to be customizable, especially in a field like NIRSA where we have such a range of specialties. It needs to be versatile. And so those are some of the challenges that we're looking at in evolving the registry. And so we're really looking for input from the professionals, the rest of the association, particularly those young professionals who are hopefully going to help us keep this living and vibrant and growing. So some things we'd like to get feedback from you guys on is how do we support purposeful career development? And how can the registry do that in a way that is accessible and user-friendly for the association? How do we embed the value of intentional and lifelong learning into the association? I don't want to speak badly about some of our history, But there was a time, and there's probably still a few professionals that have been around the block a few times, that they kind of, like Justin said, they come to the conference to hang out with people and have a good time, and maybe they'll learn something along the way, maybe they won't. But it's really about that, the networking and the connections, which I cannot overstate how important those networking and those connections are. But you also still have to be trying to learn and evolve so that you can be the best person you can be. And so we need to kind of get our association to embrace this idea that there's so much more to what we do than rolling out balls and checking out towels. What's working? What is good about the registry? What do we like about it? And then, of course, what needs to change? And I'll offer one suggestion. The registry was originally conceived to kind of be a little bit more of a senior level credential designation. So that's why, a master's with 2 years of professional experience. Well, one of the things we're so fabulous at in collegiate recreation is developing our students. I'm not aware, and I would be ready to stand corrected, but there aren't. I don't know of any other higher ed professional association that has students on its national leadership team, on its regional leadership team. And so, as wonderfully conceived as the registry is, we completely forgot about 50% of our membership or more. When you look at this, that 2-year master's degree with 2 years of professional experience. And so that's something we probably need to adapt. Whether it's a pre-registry, I don't know what but that's where we need your input and the input of everybody else in the association. Is how can we engage our students and help them see the value in lifelong learning and the core competencies, and help to build that registry to be something that's valuable for everybody and not just those of us that have been around the block a couple times. So, at this time, we're actually really ahead of schedule, so there's plenty of time for questions. A little plug here, and see, I didn't get the URL for the application. I apologize. We have 2 commissioners that are cycling off this year, and so we'd love for lots of applications so that we can have a really rich pool of people to pick from. So I encourage you, if you're interested in helping to shape the future of the registry, feel free to put your application in for the commission. If you're kind of daunted by the idea of maybe being on the commission, we're still always looking for input and suggestions and ideas. So with that, open the floor to questions. Yes?
You talked about the CEUs. Is that like self-reported, or how do you go about getting the CEUs as far as approving them?
Yes. The question for anybody in the back that might not have heard it is, are the CEUs and the PICs self-reported? And it is. It's an honor system. We have a kind of a random audit where periodically, they'll randomly pick somebody and just ask them to verify their CEUs or PICs. But it's a self-report. We're professionals. We should be able to be accountable. There is a tool on the website that you can use to track those, and that is one of the things that we're hoping to develop in the future, is something that's a little more user-friendly. But because that's one of the some of the feedback, one of the criticisms we've heard is that it's so cumbersome to track my CEUs for 3 years. And those of us that are in the fitness field, or any of the fields that are used to having to do that anyway, that's we're like, what are you talking about? That's but it's a new concept for some people that have been held accountable in that way. So there is a tool online, and I know there's been discussions about developing something that would be as easy as, I attended this session, let me click in, and it's going to go to a report for you. So we're hoping for those kind of advancements in the future. But this year, I was a little disappointed to see in the program guide. Last year, the very last page of the actual paper, not the cover, was a place where you could jot down what you attended this year, so you had a list of your CEUs. I'm not sure how that got. It might still be toward the back, but it wasn't it wasn't like last year. It was like boom, you just went right there and you could write it down as you went through the conference. So so it is. You have to pay attention, but. And even like your if you do a webinar, that can count for your CEUs. And so like I have an archive folder in my email that when I register for and get that link that's needed to go, I put it in an educational development folder so that I can, when it comes time to do my report, I pull that up and go, okay, these are the webinars I attended. And one of the really nice things that the registry, in the fact that we have the 8 core competencies and the different levels, is that you can kind of pick and choose. Wait a minute, I haven't done anything in facilities all year, or since I renewed or since I entered the registry, and I'm probably going to need that, and so I need to make sure I kind of fill that in somewhere, maybe attend There's so many facility webinars out there for the, so that you can use that to be intentional about making sure you're well-rounded too. Excellent question. Any other questions? Yes?
Jen, if I would apply to be on the commission, like what are the requirements? Are there like prereqs? Do you have to be a current member of the registry? Like what needs to be done before, I can apply to do something like that?
You do need to be a current member of the registry, and you do need to be a NIRSA professional member unless you're applying. We do have one target position that's someone that is associated with our allied fields, so ACPA or NRPA, something like that. And so they don't have to be NIRSA members. Of course, we encourage them to get involved. But and then beyond that, you have to be committed to NIRSA. So it's really broad. There are some questions. Yeah, my screensaver must have decided to pop up. So, so yeah, the prerequisite for the commission is really that you're committed to NIRSA and that you're passionate about the registry, and that you're enrolled in the registry. And then beyond that, there's 6 questions now. We revised the application just a little bit this year. We ask you to reflect on the core competencies and what is the value in the registry, so that we can make a good assessment of who's going to help move the registry forward. I don't remember the deadline offhand. Is it April 29th? So you have to think until the end of the year. Oh, good. I'm glad I typed that up there. So you have until the end of the month to apply. And then the cycle we target trying to bring people on board in July for the changeover. The nominations to the commission do have to be approved by the board. So that's kind of the cycle. And then we're working with Kristen and NIRSA to have an onboarding process for the new commissioners. I know for those of us that have been around a little bit, I was on the task force that helped promote and propose the registry. So I've been involved in this for a really long time. It's exciting to see it moving forward. But those who hadn't been involved with it for a long time, there's a lot of history and knowledge and backstory to catch up on. And so it's like, we really need to have an onboarding process. So that's something we're working on too. I didn't restate the question, but hopefully the answer told me what the question was. Any other questions? Yes?
Which master's degrees are considered viable, please?
Good question. Which master's degrees are considered viable? Anything that's going to help you advance your profession. We're pretty open-minded about that because there are a lot of related fields that are going to be helpful. Particular question about a particular major, I'm happy to give you an opinion, but we're really open to, we want somebody that's, a master's degree kind of illustrates that you have a certain level of commitment to learning and professional development. And so that was originally the theory behind that threshold. But yeah, we're open-minded. Yes, ma'am.
If the staff member that has a bachelor's in 3 years applied, when do the CEUs, when do you count them from? When the manufacturing firms are choosing?
That's an excellent question. I want to say in the past 3 years, kind of similar to our cycle for renewals. And the question, I'm sorry, was when someone applies and they need the CEUs to meet the threshold to join the registry, how far back would we go to count those CEUs? And we would keep it in keeping with our cycle.
So with that, that's we kind of talked about it a little earlier with the, when you apply to be on the registry, and if you've got the master's degree and 2 years of professional experience, you don't have to turn in anything from a CEU standpoint. I know, but anyway, getting there. Sorry, Darcy. But with that, it would be just like when we're renewing our registry term. There's a list that you can list all of your CEUs, and I think it is more or less a 3-year cycle, like what Jim was saying. But that is the only time you have to actually turn in CEUs prior to joining, as if you don't have the master's and 2 years of experience. And I think what Jen said earlier is something we need to revisit is because our students are getting so heavily involved, I would think more so than in years, maybe even in the last 10 years. I didn't touch it. It's just
I forgot to turn off the screen.
I think it would be beneficial for us as a registry commission and as NIRSA as a whole to look into devising something that might take that master's degree in 2 years out. Maybe still keep the master's degree and be a professional, but what can we do to get younger professionals when they first become a professional to get into the registry to get them started? Because sometimes you get all excited, you get your first professional job, man, I want to get involved, I want to do this. And then you see something like the registry and you go, okay, cool, I've got my master's, I got to wait 2 years before I can apply. And then you forget about it. Because you get involved, you get busy, it happens, life happens. So that's probably something we should revisit as a commission and as NIRSA as a whole is those requirements to get in. Personally, I still think it is important to at least have the master's or the bachelor's with the CEUs, coming in. But that really should probably be something we look into in the future. That was, knowing how heavily involved our students are now, more so than in the past, 10, 15 years. This generation of students just want to be involved. They thirst for knowledge. They want to do what they can to better themselves. And I think this is the perfect avenue to do that in. And I think we should look at maybe changing up our criteria, what it takes to get in, so we can get some of the younger professionals in and get them involved.
Actually, standing here right now, I'm sorry, just standing here while he was talking, I'm like, we have a student leadership team in NIRSA that does all this stuff with students. Maybe we have a student registry that I literally was just like, oh wait, sorry. Yes, Amanda.
I'll be graduating this May with my master's, and I've been volunteering and doing annual conferences for the past 3 years. And seeing this, I can't apply for it, correct? So, that is something.
Well, you could, depending on how much experience you have.
Okay.
Yeah. And 2 years of grad school count as 1 year as a professional. So that's
huge.
yes. So that's So that helps at least so that you once you get your feet underneath you as a professional, you can apply. So
Okay.
excellent. Sure. Okay, good. Darcy asked me to do a poll. So how many in the room are professional staff members currently? Okay. And how many students do we have in the room? Awesome. Nice. Awesome. So I saw your hand.
Yeah, as far as the 2 years professional experience, is that just within campus rec, or can that come from the broader recreation realm?
Okay, so the question was if in regards to the 2 years as a professional, does it have to be recreation related? I think there'd probably be a preference for that, but I don't, it's not established as a criteria. And I think professional experience is professional experience. And just like we talk about students learning things and from working and learning and participating in collegiate recreation, learning valuable skills that are going to help them in any career, I think that would parallel in the registry. So.
Yeah, because we just, our staff is completely doubled in size, and we pulled some, from the city sports facilities. And
Absolutely.
They've been working 3-4 years, but not specifically campus rec.
Yeah, and I think they're going to bring some valuable knowledge to the association. So, and as you were talking, I got to thinking about even our business services or marketing people, they may not come from a recreation background either, and they're still going to bring valuable energy. So, great question. Thank you. Any other questions? So I think we might be done a little bit early, but if you have questions you don't want to ask in a group, or you see one of us walking around and you want to ask more questions, by all means, I know we're all passionate about recreation and collegiate wellness and the registry and lifelong learning, so we're happy to chat with you.
And I want to encourage everyone to use the guidebook to do presenters their evaluations, so we would really appreciate